Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your old pal, Mr. Butter, coming back at you. And today I got a real interesting pair of kicks I'd like to get into. Shout out to my buddy Silent Z. He actually hit on sneakers for a pair of the Jordan 11 Adapts that dropped this year. It's funny because he actually hit on these last year as well. I think I like this colorway of this shoe more than what I liked the first version that came out last year. The Adapt is a shoe that is known for having like an auto lacing system. It's got an app that you can install on your phone to control it from the app, which I think is a little bit of overkill, but it also has some buttons on it and you can tighten them or loosen the shoe however you want it. So it's real interesting. And of course, everybody knows the Jordan 11 silhouette. So it's a pretty unique pair of kicks. It's very interesting and I look forward to getting into it. If you're into kicks and you feel like hanging out, then hit that subscribe button. Let's look at these Jordan 11 Adapts. Holy guacamole. And much like I pointed out in the review of the first pair, the 1.0, this box is heavy. I mean, it feels like they're still using car batteries in these things. I don't think this is a pair of shoes I would wear near the deep end or anything because you might just sink straight to the bottom, and I don't even think Michael Phelps could swim with these puppies on. So the first version was in a black box, and this time, as you can see, it's in like a wolf gray color almost. But the design of the box is pretty much the same. It's got that Jumpman that's kind of in that pearlescent color. You can see all those rainbow colors in the reflection of that. And up at the top, it says Air Jordan Adapt and version 1.5, along with the year 2021. I think these dropped this year in 2022. So I'm sure they were manufactured in 2021, and maybe like a lot of the shoes that were supposed to come out last year, maybe this just got pushed back like the rest of them. Much like the box from version 1.0, it's got these circles here in that rainbow reflective color. And here's a look at the tag. The tag reads Air Jordan Adapt US MXJPCA. So I don't know what all that stuff is for. And the colors are Photon Dust Multicolor Multi. This is a size 13, and I know that the suggested retail on the first version was $500. I think it was the same for these, I believe. I'll have to check. But then again, much like the first release from last year, it's got these two tabs that you pull out at the bottom here, and then when you open it up, you got this space age looking paper. On the top of the box, starting from left to right, there you see an illustration of the app. There you see an illustration of the buttons, and then it looks like here on the right you see that you can just sit them on the charging pad. So a lot of the same that we had for the first release. Then up here, this I believe is the charging cable. And then this paper looks really, really neat. But I guess for a $500 shoe, you can expect some pretty cool looking paper. But it says Adapt on there, and it's got Jumpmen. So you open that up, and then you've got some white paper folded across. And there is our first look. Reminds me a lot of the Legend Blue, but they look really, really nice. So here are both shoes. Let me go ahead and get the charging pad out of there just to show you what that looks like as well. But my initial thought on these, two things. I didn't realize that this toe cap, instead of being like a classic Jordan 11, I didn't realize that this was like a nubuck, but it feels like a really, really high-end material. Feels like great, great quality. I really like the feel of it. It looks really nice. I would definitely spray these before I wore them though. So I didn't realize that it didn't have the patent leather, and I just really think this colorway looks phenomenal. I mean, it looks really, really good. I definitely prefer this to the version 1. And then, like I mentioned, below that really cool looking paper, we've got our instruction manual, which is funny to have shoes that come with an instruction book. It's pretty thick, and it's got this charging pad. You can see there's 2 circles on there, and basically you just sit your shoes on there. You plug this in with the cord that's supplied, and whenever you sit your shoes on there, a lot like a bunch of cell phones and that sort of thing, it just charges them whenever they sit on there. But now that we got all the gizmos and the packaging out of the way, I just think these things look great. And a lot like the version 1.0, the top kind of has this overlay of opaque or like semi-transparent. It's almost like a ripstop material, but all the little squares, like the little netting on it, is that nice light blue color, and it really looks like it just glows off of there. You can see that color on the 23. I think it's brighter than Legend Blue. I really, really like Legend Blue, but this just seems like it pops more than that. And I think they're definitely a unique, cool looking pair of kicks. But starting with the outsole, we've got a pretty standard looking 11 outsole. You can see that Jumpman through that bright blue translucent material. You have the 2 traction pads under the forefoot and the heel, and it's got that nice herringbone tread pattern. Of course, you've got carbon fiber there in the middle, and much like the first pair, these things are just heavy. But you come up and see that bright blue meeting this white foam, and that white foam feels just like the white foam that you get on standard Jordan 11s. But then, unlike your standard Jordan 11s, you see this button, one has a plus and one has a minus. And of course, that is what is used for tightening up this lacing system. And if you come up to the lacing system, you can see that it's just got this kind of thin rope or cable that wraps through all these little connectors. And whenever you tighten it up, it has a motor in there that spins and actually tightens and then spins the other way to loosen them up. But I think this pair has a lot more of these canvas loops on the tongue than what version 1.0 did. And you can see it's got more ripstop with that bright blue color there on the tongue as well. But then, like I already mentioned, I didn't realize that these toe caps were a nice nubuck, but this stuff feels really, really good. I would compare it to like the nubuck on the PSG 4s. It's just a very high-end material. It looks really nice and it feels like great quality. But then coming to the back, you can see a Jumpman through that ripstop material. And then up here by the collar, we've got some gray accents and a bright blue 23. A lot like the version 1 pair, these came with the hard plastic shoe trees in there.